Does your anime hair look flat and unappealing? Because mine did. Therefore let me show you everything that you need to know to draw much better anime hair. So now real quick about some basics. First we obviously need a head. And starting with the head makes actually drawing hair much easier. And also if you want my brushes, they are for free in the description below. And with them you also get 30 art tips that will improve your art in 30 days. So we need a head first. It's much easier to draw hair that way. But also these hair don't have to be super clean. They can be messy like this and they'll still work. But also remember of the rule small, medium, big. So pretty much we want to have some shapes that are bigger, some that are smaller and some that are just medium. So for example here we can see that we have some bigger shapes like this here, some smaller, some medium, boom, again here a medium one, boom, a smaller one. So big, small, medium, and here would be like a bigger again, boom, boom. Same here. We see that here we have a smaller shape, here we have like a bigger shape. So for example here, boom, this would be big, small, maybe this would be medium, then again here big. This could be divided into 1, 2, something like this. So this medium, big, small, and then here we have like a smaller shape. So it actually makes our hair much more appealing and they don't look like they have same size everywhere like this. Boom. It just makes it a little bit more interesting. And also dividing hair into the front hair, like the side hair and the back ones, is also super helpful. But now let me show you how I simply just draw a basic hair. So I always start with a base color. So for example here, let's just draw a darker hair, like perhaps maybe, let's see if this color will be all right, maybe something like this. So let's just first select the hair. Okay, let's see, boom, and we have a simple hair. Now next thing is I like to actually add a little bit of color variety to the hair. So make a new layer, clip it to this, and now what I like to do is basically just make a little bit darker and more saturated color, take airbrush and just paint on the ends here like this, maybe even a little bit darker like this, boom, some ends. Now do the same but this time for a little bit lighter color like this, less saturated, maybe more towards bluer, and just add it like that, boom. It's not much but it adds a little bit more interest to the color. So next part is adding shadows. So on a new layer I usually just go multiply layer here, pick the color of the hair. Let's see how it will look. Is it okay? It's too dark, make it lighter, maybe move the hue towards something like this, maybe decrease this to like that, flip it like this. So first of all, let's say that the light source is coming from, let's say, this direction here. So basically here this part like that would be in shadow like this, boom, here like this, like that, boom, and obviously this. So let's now do that. Let's just add some basic shadows. Okay, boom. For now the color doesn't have to be 100% right, that we want to stick with it, but just place it. And also now with the shadows we want to just start with a super basic shapes. For example here you see that I don't go and draw every single hair strand. I just go super simple like this and just draw super simple shapes like that, boom, something like this. Obviously remember about the curvature of the form like that, boom, like this. There we can put a little bit more shadow here, boom, like that. Now flip it, maybe there would be actually light a bit. For now we won't be doing a shape for the ear, the light, so probably like it would be shadow like this for the ear, more like this. But for now we'll just skip it and add later. Okay, first big shapes like here, boom, boom. And for now it's enough like this. So now let's actually go and add some more details. Like I said before, let's add the shape for our ear. Let's say it would be something like that, make it harder like this, boom. Okay, now go here, there would be obviously shadow because this overlaps that, more shadows in between, maybe even a little bit shadow here, boom. Just here knowing the form will be a game changer, boom, will be super useful. So you know, it's super useful to actually practice different things, drawing different things. Now we don't add much detail. The only thing we do is basically just add smaller shadows. This can be more like this, and harsher, some shadows in between this, like that, boom, Now perhaps we can do some light here, like that. Let's see how it looks. More like this. Okay, now add some shadow here. Boom. And this will be super messy. But now let's go to ambient occlusion. So pretty much it's a shadow that is inside, that is between darker, that is between areas. So for example, here would be a little bit, okay. Then on the back would be, but that's too much, too saturated. So decrease the saturation a bit like this. Here would be a little bit, oh, here like that. Boom. Now in between these hair strands like that. Okay. Obviously here, because these volumes here touch, are close to each other like that. This part here, flip it a little bit. Boom. Maybe like this. We are still in the stage where we don't add much details. That will come later. Okay. Now let's just add some more smaller shadows like that. Boom. And I think that's enough for now. Below this ear, maybe even shadow like this here. Boom. Okay, something like this, and perhaps like more darker shadows the lower it goes. Maybe even here. Boom, like this. Okay, now let's go to next thing, which is highlights. So here we can add a new hard light layer, take our color for the hair, and we can now start placing highlights. Now we have a color for our highlight. So I'll just place some colors. So pretty much I just first plant a color like this, then take a bigger eraser and just erase it a bit like that. Boom. And we see that we already have a shape for our highlight. Okay, like this. So pretty much it will be more like that here. Boom. We can now take eraser and just go between these hair strands here. Boom. Okay. And pretty much you can leave it as it is, but we can go even more, maybe something like this. Boom. Now on the corners, maybe in the middle like that. Now take a bigger eraser like this and go again with it, maybe like that. Erase it. Obviously start with the bigger shapes. Boom. Then go into smaller ones. And obviously you can go as small as you want, but for anime art style it will probably look better be left with the bigger shapes. Okay, then we can obviously go with a bigger one and just smoothly do this. Boom. And we have a highlight here. Now let's go for here, like this. Boom. And again, bigger eraser, like this. Boom. Now go with a smaller brush, like this. Put it like maybe this one. Now smaller eraser here, like that. Boom, boom. Erase this. Perhaps we can do a little bit cut in this. Maybe a smaller one here, like this. And we have this side as well. Now for this here, boom, boom. We do the same for this and that. Boom, 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 boom. Now go inside this, make a bigger, smaller shape like this. Will be this. Boom, go here will be shadow. Cut this, cut that. Okay, again, something like this here. Another cut here. And okay, now for this, basically the highlight won't be here because the light is shining from this side here. Now for this and that. Okay, we can also place this, that. Okay, and now eraser like this. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so place, erase. It's a super simple method. I use this all the time, not even only for anime style, but also for more like stylized, realistic, semi-realistic look. Okay, now for this part here, and it's super simple. Boom. Obviously go with follow the hair. Okay, so don't go and do like a hair like that. No, hair go like that. Boom. So now a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller one, maybe here, same here, boom, boom. Oh, go again with a eraser. Boom. Maybe even punch something here. Boom. Okay, it would be a shadow here like this. Add some cuts in here. Boom. And now highlight here like that. Boom, boom. Okay, we can also obviously add some highlights like here. Boom, smaller ones. Boom. But for now it's enough, and we already see that these look pretty anime like. But now what I also like to do is let's make, here we have our highlights. Okay, so now let's make a layer below that and just select the area where we have some light, maybe like this. Boom, something like this. Now this part here. Boom, 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 boom. But try to not make them like super organic like that. More like boom, 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 okay, boom, boom. Okay, like that. And erase the parts for where the hair part, like this. Go back here. Boom. Okay, this. And now just make a new hard light layer like this, boom, make a light color and go with the airbrush, something like that, boom, boom, and we added a little bit more light. Now just go on the transitions and just smudge it, okay, like this, boom, boom, something like this. Make the tops here more light like this. We have more light, boom, and highlights, and we can actually push the highlights to be lighter, perhaps a little bit more saturated like this, boom. Let's see, boom, boom. Okay, now let's add some color variety to these highlights. So pick a new layer, make a new layer, add glow, and now we can go slightly on the transitions between the highlights, okay, like this effect, boom, a super slide. You see that there is not much color here, and even if there will be, then we'll just decrease the opacity of this layer like this. We can probably go like that, okay, a little bit more like this, boom, boom, just to make these colors here a little bit pop on the transitions like this, boom, boom, boom. Okay, now let's erase some, smudge it, okay, perhaps change it to glow dodge. That will be much better. Now take a soft eraser and just erase some parts like this in the middle of it, boom, okay, so here, boom, 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 okay, again here and here, okay. Now perhaps change the hue a little bit to something like this, less saturation, and something like this. Now change the opacity, lower it a bit, and we see that the highlights pop a little bit more. I like this effect. But now let's actually go to our line art, our sketch, okay. Now with it, without it, you can see that these already look pretty anime-like, or more stylized also. So take the layer for our sketch, take this here and make it a little bit more like darker, I mean more bluer, a little bit darker, and just paint on top of the sketch, so it will blend more nicely with our hair like this, okay, something like this, boom. And also erase some lines that we don't really need here, these, much of these, this one here, boom. Now let's go and add some details finally. Now what we can do is pretty much just convert this layer into one layer. So here we have the layer merged, okay. So now let's just go here and we can add some details here. So pick a normal brush and just go and also sculpt here a little bit. So on the transitions between the light and shadow. So therefore we don't really need to draw every single hair strand, because it will look like there is a million hair strands drawn, but these are just some smaller details. Same here, like this, go with this, boom, boom, like that, light here, like this, boom. Now perhaps we can even take this light here and just draw it around, and even take the highlight, push it a little bit like this, okay. Now this, go here, boom, just try to blend these pretty nice, like this. Take the shadow color, put it here, boom. Now also take the shadow color, go here, like this, boom, take the light color, go here, same here, but here we can do a little bit bigger shapes, like this, boom, something like that. Now go a little bit smaller, same here, now a little bit smaller again, boom, maybe some here, maybe a super small like this, depend on obviously how realistic you want to go. Now I can actually take this, paint it on this corner here like that, boom. Now same for here, you can even take these highlights and paint it on the corners of the hair here, boom, boom, like that, boom. Okay, and we don't really have to add a ton of details, to be honest, just a couple of them in some key areas. Okay, now same here, just go with a smaller one like that, now with darker one, boom, and follow the hair, boom, boom, like that, some, let's say, ambient and bounce light here, boom, boom. Now next thing that we can do, so after we add a little bit more details, is basically some random hair that are sticking out. So for example, here obviously the sketch is super messy, but we can just add some hair like this. Again, we can do some here, like that, boom. And here I like using this brush because depending on what direction you draw, it just changes the thickness of it, okay? So it's pretty useful whenever drawing hair. You can do something like this, like that, boom. Some more here, like this, there, boom. Obviously less is more, don't overdo it with this, because it will just look messy. That, boom. You can even erase this a little bit with a soft brush, like this, boom. Actually make it on a new layer, take the darker one, like this. We can even go to the ends and fix them a little bit, like this, like some hair sticking out, boom. Okay, now from this side here, okay, just some random hair sticking out, so it's not that hard. This layer here, okay. We also can take our highlight color and also draw some hair sticking out. Obviously this would be a little bit more realistic style, maybe like a random hairs here, boom, here and here. So obviously you can skip this, but I still saw a little bit of anime that actually use this random hair, or at least in like a more art style anime games. Okay, so this will actually help soften the shape a bit, the hair of the hair. Obviously we can do some random darker ones, well, something like this, boom boom, and maybe one here, boom. Don't overdo it, just you can obviously go erase now a little bit like this, boom, and maybe around the ear one, boom, something like this, perhaps this, boom. So this is how we can quickly actually draw some simple anime style hair. Obviously you can go with this super realistic or super like cel shading look, just depends on what you're going for. But now if you want to actually know how to draw an anime face, you can check out my Patreon for monthly tutorials and check out the tutorial that I have on anime faces there. But now there might be one mistake that you're doing that will ruin your anime faces, and if you want to learn more about it, then you can check out this video here that will help you fix it. So bye.